I will show for you this paper. This paper was published in 2019, and the authors aimed to determine the riboflavin, niacin, folate, and vitamin B12 in commercial microalgae powders. In order, and the main focus here is the vitamin B12, because we know that for our diet, for humans, the main source of the vitamin B12 is animal foods, and that some bacteria could synthesize B12, but higher plants do not synthesize. So some works or maybe sites on the internet could present spirulina as a source of vitamin of the vitamin B12, and this work showed that spirulina contains only the pseudo vitamin B12. That is not biological active for humans. And in this work, the authors determined the vitamins using sometimes analytical and sometimes microbiological methods. Here, they present the quantities of riboflavin, and the letter S represents powders of spirulina, the letter C powders of chlorella, and the letter N represents the nanochloropsis. And here we can see that the riboflavin is present in all powders in quantities varying of 20 to 40 micrograms per gram. About niacin, we can see that all powders presented to the niacin in the two forms that niacin could be found in this microalgae, the nicotinic acid and nicotinamide. And here, the authors showed the presence of folic acid, and they determined many molecules that compound this, that we named folic acid, using different methodologies. And we can see here that the quantities in micrograms per gram that they found in chlorella and nanochloropsis were higher than the concentrations of folic acid in spirulina powders. And here they present the vitamin B12 present in spirulina is not the vitamin B12 that is absorbed for humans, but it is the pseudovitamin B12. Here I'm presenting some minerals that can be found in powders of spirulina, and we can see that many of these minerals could be considered as cofactors in enzymes, two enzymes in our metabolism. So it's very important, this concentration in minerals. And because of that, vitamins, minerals, proteins, lipids that are present in the biomasses of spirulina, is because of this that spirulina is considered a superfood. But I'm showing again the same paper that I showed before, because these quantities of minerals present depends a lot of the quality of the culture media of cultivation of spirulina. So not only good minerals could be present in the biomass of spirulina, but if the water in which the microalgae was cultivated was not good, we can present here, we can find here toxic metals. And in this work, we showed that spirulina could absorb high quantities of hexavalent chromium that is considered a toxic metal. So it is very important to control the quality of the water of cultivation of spirulina or any other microalgae. About the nutraceutical properties and cultivation conditions, we know, we already know that cultivation conditions can alter the chemical composition, and because of the alteration of the modification of chemical composition, we will have in these biomasses different nutraceutical properties. In a paper published in 2004, it's a paper of my master degree, we showed that in higher concentrations of linoleic acid was found when the biomass was cultivated at 35 degrees and with higher concentrations of nitrogen. This condition was compared with the biomass cultivated at 30 degrees and with minor concentrations of nitrogen. And an increase in the concentration of phenolic compounds and antioxidant potential was observed in the biomass cultivated at 35 degrees and higher concentrations of nitrogen. This paper presented a similar result, but it was published 4 years after, and they determined not only phenolic compounds, but they determined the concentrations of chlorophyll, carotenoids, phenolic compounds, tocopherol, and phycocyanin. And they showed that in higher concentrations of sodium nitrate, the quantities of total chlorophyll, total phenol compounds, and phycocyanin were higher in the biomass. And in the lower concentrations of nitrogen in the media, they found higher quantities of carotenoids and tocopherol. About the nutraceutical properties, we will find a lot of works using spirulina or indicating spirulina in the prevention of many diseases. This review presented some about this. This review is named Spirulina for the Food and Functional Food Industries for 2020. And they show that against hypertension, there are many works. I will show only one. They performed studies in animal models using 2 grams per day for 3 months, and with good effects in the control of hypertension. And these effects were attributed to high protein content present in the biomass of spirulina, but still because of the presence of bioactive peptides. But this functionality of the bioactive peptides is still a hypothesis. Against the obesity, spirulina can present appetite reduction with changes in the endogenous antioxidant complex, mainly the superoxide dismutase enzyme, and differences were observed in the lipid profile. Against the diabetes, spirulina quickly reduces plasma glucose and insulin concentrations, and this is attributed to the presence of polyunsaturated fatty acids in the microalgae, and because of the presence of peptides. There are many works, as I say, about the health properties of spirulina, and I I'm showing for you one of the first that we can find in the literature about the effect of spirulina and hypercholesterolemia. This paper was published by Nakaya and collaborators. They used 30 men with hyperlipidemia and hypertension, and they divided these two groups, these men into groups A and group B. And for the first group, they administrated 4.2 grams per day of spirulina, and for the group B, 4.2 grams per day of spirulina in the first 4 weeks, and without spirulina in the next 4 weeks. This is important work because it was done with humans, and we will find a lot of papers using animal models. They observed the reduction of LDL cholesterol in the group A after 8 weeks of treatment, and for the group B, they showed a reduction in the LDL cholesterol while the diet with microalgae was maintained. This work I performed, I did in my master degree too. We used animal models. We used 15 male rabbits, and we divided these animals in 5 groups that were fed with 4 different diets. The standard diet, the cholesterol diet, that was the standard diet, a diet of 0.35% of cholesterol in powder, plus 10% of lard. A third diet was cholesterol spirulina diet, that was a diet of 0.5% of spirulina, and the fat diet was the control comparing with the standard diet. And here we can see the results. The first group, FDG, received the standard diet. The CDG group received the cholesterol diet. The CSDG received the diet with cholesterol and spirulina. And the CSDG 30 received the diet with spirulina only after 30 days of administration of cholesterol diet. And the FDG group received only the fat diet. We demonstrated here that the cholesterol levels of rabbits fed with the cholesterol diet, with the cholesterol diet during the first day, and with the spirulina cholesterol diet after 30 days, were lower when comparing the initial and final indexes of total cholesterol, triglycerides, and regarding to HDL cholesterol that was considered the good cholesterol, spirulina has some effect, but not always with significant differences in between the groups. About the hypercholesterolemia and nutraceutical compounds present in spirulina, the literature shows that the main compounds are carotenoids, tocopherols, phenolic compounds, and phycocyanin. And the property that was important is the antioxidant property, because these antioxidants could avoid the LDL oxidation. And still, the presence of polyunsaturated fatty acids could cause modifications in the fluidity of lipoproteins acting in the hypercholesterolemia. Here I will present something about the antiviral activity. Some research has linked the low incidence of HIV in populations of Chad, Africa, to the consumption of spirulina. And the results of these researches showed that spirulina has antiviral activities against herpes virus, cytomegalovirus, influenza, and others. And the main compound related with this activity is named calcium spirulum. That was a sulfated polysaccharide that could be extracted using hot extraction procedures in the biomass of spirulina. Here, I'm showing for you another paper of 2021. And because of COVID-19, a lot of papers appears showing the importance of nutraceutical compounds. And this one concluded that spirulina can be an alternative natural therapeutic agent for numerous virus infections because spirulina contains those bioactive compounds that I showed for you before. And spirulina could avoid or prevent the spread of the virus in the host cells. And because of that, it can serve as a natural supplement that could improve the immune system in humans. Here, the authors showed a table with the procedures used to perform distraction of compounds, the main viruses that were used, and the authors here. The same here for spirulina maxima. So we can see that there are more studies with spirulina platensis. And here, this study was a review done trying to show properties of algae-derived nutraceuticals as supplements to combat the COVID-19. So the authors concluded that algae-based nutraceuticals, mainly spirulina appears as the microalgae that more can have that can present more properties, nutraceutical properties, and this spirulina can improve our immunity against viral disease. And they mentioned the compounds that can be peptides, phycobiliproteins, as the phycocyanin, sulfated polysaccharides, the calcium spirulina appears here too. Against cancer, a lot of studies can be found in the literature. The main compounds that are mentioned are polysaccharides and phycocyanin, and they are related with studies in oral leukoplakias, carcinomas, melanomas, skin and stomach tumors. I presented for you a lot of works and scientific evidence that spirulina is good, and that spirulina has these nutraceutical properties. But the question, is spirulina really safe to use in the human diet? It still could be done because not ever the spirulina is produced with good control quality. So we can have we can beware about that. This study evaluated the toxicity of Spirulina platensis extract, and they used methanolic extract to perform two kinds of studies, one with acute toxicity, another one with subchronic toxicity. In both cases, spirulina doesn't present toxic effects. But I find this another work that questioned if spirulina is really safe to be used in human diet. And The authors mentioned that Spirulina, Chlorella, Syndesmos, and Dunaniella are the most species that are traded as food, and these species do not produce toxins. The toxin that is important here is the microcystin that could be produced by some species of microalgae. But for these four microalgae, still we can have contamination in open tanks that are used in the production. In this case, spirulina is the most resistant depending on the alkaline pH, but all these biomasses could contain adsorbed metals, and because of this, the water quality control is very important. The evaluation of products marketed in Canada found no presence of microcystin in spirulina products. What are the reasons? Until now, we speak about the nutraceuticals that appears to us as drugs or pills, but what are the reasons for using microalgae in food? For what reasons we will adapt microalgae or spirulina in food? To increase the nutrient levels, because in food we have to add some antioxidants, and these antioxidants could be natural because of the others functional properties of spirulina, but still because we can search for properties that are not only nutraceutical, but that have technological effects in the food, as the emulsifying activity. Here I'm showing for you a table with many products, many food products, as snacks, drink, pasta, chocolate, meat, drinks, rice, a lot of products, food products that could be developed with microalgae. And here we can see that spirulina or Artospira platensis appears a lot. Here again, a lot of pictures with food products developed with spirulina. We can see food products, cosmetics, tea, and here we can see beer with a claim of anti-aging beer. And this claim is not allowed in Brazil, but we can find a lot of this on the internet. In our research group, we developed pasta, yogurts, bread, salted fish, ice creams, and I will show some of our works for you. Here I'm presenting two studies. In these two papers, we studied the methods of extraction and purification of spirulina protein in order to obtain protein concentrates and isolates. The idea here was also to separate fractions containing carbohydrates in order to obtain bioethanol. Here, two more works. These works are also a continuation of the previous one, but their objectives was not only the separation of proteins, but also the characterization of their functional properties. We demonstrated a high emulsification capacity of different fractions of the proteins of spirulina, and still the capacity of oil holding and foaming characteristics. And these three characteristics, the emulsification, the capacity of oil holding, and the foaming, are important when we are looking for the development of foods. Here, I'm showing for you the development of functional pasta. And in this work, we studied the application of spirulina free, the powder free in the pasta, or the powder microencapsulated in alginate beds. We perform all characterization of physical, chemical, microbiological, and sensorial characterization of this pasta. And we showed that the consumers didn't present differences in the acceptability of the pasta, even when spirulina was a dead-free. But we have a protection of the potential antioxidant of phycocyanin when we perform the encapsulation. Here, I'm presenting the last work. In this one, we developed ice creams with reduction of sugar and fat by the addition of inulin, spirulina platensis, or phycocyanin. And we have here one very good result that was the formulation 12 that presented 25% less sugar, 50% less fat, and this formulation was done without addition of any emulsifier or considered chemical emulsifier, but it was formulated with phycocyanin and inulin. And my conclusions about all speech was this one. And so nutraceutical properties varies with the chemical composition and cultivation methods. Nutraceutical properties of spirulina can be used in the risk reduction of disease, but not with the status of drugs. The proven effects of hyperlipidemic disease and cancer are closely related to some ability of compounds to act as free radical scavengers, and the main antioxidant is the phycocyanin. Spirulina can have effects against viruses, against fungi and bacteria, and these properties are related with phycocyanin, calcium spirula, and phenolic compounds. Spirulina among the microalgae appears to be the safest to the use in humans with no toxic effects, but only when cultivated with the control of the water, the quality control of the water used. Spirulina can implement the nutritional quality of food, especially proteins and with proteins and antioxidants, and the phycocyanin could still be used as emulsifiers in foods. So I want to thank you for your attention, and one more time I want to thank for the invitation for Jose, Hector, and Cesar, and I am available for your questions.
Thank you very much, Luciane, for the presentation. An excellent presentation. It's very interesting, all the topics that you treat. We have 4 questions about the topic. Ana Ilina, Karime Moctezuma, Ale Cabello y Juan Castañón. Para hacerlo tal vez más fluido y para que también puedan participar nuestros participantes que están el día de hoy. Si quieren, pueden hacer la pregunta directa a nuestro ponente. Ana Ilina, si quieres, puedes hacer tu pregunta y si no, pues ya la leo. Adelante, Ana Ilina. Creo que Ana Ilina.
I'm seeing the question here in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, Anailina, she put in the chat, what compound is responsible for the specific odor of spirulina powder?
Mainly the amino acids, the sulfurated amino acids is responsible for the odor. And about the second question, in our products that we developed, depends of the product. When we developed the yogurt, the addition of spirulina makes the index of acceptability lower. But in the pasta, as you can see in the paper that I presented, we didn't find this interference.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think that yes, the smell influences the acceptance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Karime Moctezuma.
Sí, ¿pueden escucharme?
Sí, ya te escuchamos.
Okay. Mi primera pregunta es, do you consider electroporation effective method for the excretion intracellular metabolism from the microalgae?
Is the question of Karim here in the chat?
Yes.
I didn't understand that. I'm looking for your question here. Do you consider? I read something about this methodology of extraction, Karim, but I don't know if I can answer yes for you for this question. And the impact of grow conditions on the content of depending on the composition of the media, we will have a totally different concentrations of the compounds in the spirulina. When we cultivated spirulina with high quantities of nutrients, we can see that spirulina grows a lot, but this biomass could have high quantities of proteins. If you will want more quantities of lipids or other molecules that doesn't have in its structures the nitrogen, we need to use media with less nitrogen. This is very important in the concept of developing of biomasses to biofuels, because we are using here spirulina to the production of bioethanol, and to this application we use mainly effluent and culture media with high quantities of sugars or organic material, and this biomass will present too much less proteins. So, and spirulina cultivated with a full media will present 60 to 70% of proteins. And we find here in our studies spirulina's biomasses with 40, 50% of carbohydrates and not proteins. And this will alter the nutraceutical application and all of these applications of the biomass.
Okay, muchas gracias.
Gracias.
César, creo que tienes apagado el micrófono.
Sorry. Thank you very much for the question. The next is Ale Cabello. Ale Cabello, si quieres leer tu pregunta o la leo yo.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
First, thank you for your excellent and very interesting presentation, Professor Luciane. The first question is there a direct relationship between protein content and the efficacious content in the micrology?
Yes. With more proteins, more phycocyanin is directly. Because the phycocyanin is a phycobilly protein, so part of the proteins present in spirulina are linked with the chromophore group. And if you produce spirulina with less protein, the quantity of phycocyanin will be lower. What are the main factors in the cultivation of microalgae that favor protein production? Mainly light and the concentration of nitrogen in the media. These both.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias. La siguiente es de Juan Castañón, me comenta que la lea. What are the main challenge for food products containing spirulina to be better used or to increase their consumption to take advantage of the beneficial effects on the bioactive compounds?
I think that the main challenge is the flavor, because many people doesn't like, but I think that this can vary with the culture of the country. So I think that in Brazil we have a lot of difficulties to increase the consumption, and people here are worried a lot with obesity, and they use microalgae normally to reduce weight body. And but I think that in many countries, Europe, Japan, I don't know, in Mexico, this is not a problem, the flavor and the odor of spirulina. But I have a worried about the consumption of spirulina, because spirulina has all these properties. But I don't know if ever in the cultivation we have that quality control of water that I mentioned. So sometimes we will use a pill, maybe, and of spirulina, and we can have a lot of quantities of other compounds that are not spirulina, that are toxic metals, for example. So I think that we need to do this with care, the consumption of nutraceuticals. Okay. Because of that, I think that is better to add in food.
Okay, thank you very much. La siguiente pregunta es de Aneles de la Rosa. No sé si quieres preguntar, Aneles, directamente para poder interactuar con nuestra ponente. Usted, por favor. Muy bien. Entonces, a ver, la pregunta es, the sensorial properties of products are very important. Can you mention a little about this challenge in the final product?
The blue color and the green color is the main. It's the most important attribute that will change if you make the addition of spirulina. And after the flavor, more than the smell. The flavor more than the smell. But we know that they are related.
Muy bien. Thank you. La siguiente pregunta es de Karime. no, esa que ya habíamos leído anteriormente. La siguiente es Mónica Escobar. Mónica Escobar, si quieres hacer tu pregunta, adelante.
Sí. You talk about toxic compounds depending on cultivation conditions. Here in Mexico, there are many supplements with spirulina. Is there a way we can know which ones are good or not, and which ones do have the properties you mentioned?
I think that we need to ask about the quality control of the powder in the places that we buy spirulina. I did this sometimes, and only to buy for recognized companies, I think. Because sometimes we can find spirulina or chlorella or other microalgae on internet, and we can not have any information about the composition. I'm very worried about the composition. And one test that I ever do is to put spirulina in water to evaluate the quantity of phycocyanin, because phycocyanin is a soluble pigment. And when the spirulina was good, and we performed the solubilization of spirulina in water, the soluble pigment is very, very blue. And sometimes we can find powders that mentioned that we have spirulina, and we put the powder in water, and the result is not blue. The result after perform the filtration, no, and the result is not blue. It's green or is brown, other colors. So this is a way that I perform my control quality in my house.
Okay, thank you very much, Mónica. La siguiente pregunta es de María Soledad. María Soledad, ¿quieres hacer tu pregunta directamente a nuestra ponente?
Ela disse que não tem áudio.
¿Escuchas?
She said that she doesn't have audio.
Ok, entonces vamos a leerlo aquí. Bueno, yo había escuchado, no sé si era María Soledad, pero bueno, in order to enrich some milk beverage, what concentration of alga powder do you suggest?
I tried to add until 1.5% of spirulina in yogurt, but my suggestion is only to use until 0.5%, because using more than 0.5%, the results in the smell and in the color was too much higher.
It's a difficult question.
Yeah. In milk beverage it's complicated.
Yes. Ok. ¿Alguna otra pregunta que tenga el público que quiera hacerle a nuestra ponente?
Yes, Cesar, can I?
Adelante.
Hector.
Yes, well, Luciane, thank you very much for your presentation. I think that was very great in terms of this kind of overview for different kind of compounds for food application. No? But I have to question in terms of, in your expertise, what do you think that this is the principal bottleneck in terms of the development, the third generation of biorefineries for Micrology in terms of try to produce these high value compounds and other compounds, for example, biofuels, in terms of the scale up or the demo scale level? What do you think?
I think that you need the main property is the antioxidant property of phycocyanin, and this pigment is very, very unstable in temperature. And when we develop food products, we use many processes that uses temperature. So we need to develop capsules, microencapsulation, ways to protect this potential antioxidant of spirulina. But if we want the emulsification property of a protein, so we will lose the antioxidant property, or we will need to add some part of the spirulina encapsulated and another part without encapsulation to have these two properties together. I think that is this, to add in food.
Okay, and the second, can I, is in terms of the configuration of the reactor. You have some great expertise in terms of they use different kind of configurations. In your opinion, at this moment, what is the best, or in terms of the growth biomass for the Micrology for try to produce different compounds?
I use more the open tanks because we use a lot the closed tank, closed bioreactors, but only in small scales. When we need to operate in higher volumes, I ever use open tanks. But I think that to produce a spirulina with a quality, a nutraceutical quality, and that if you will think that spirulina will be used as nutraceutical in the farm industry, I think that in this case we can use closed bioreactors.
Okay.
But to the use that I'm studying here, to biofuels or to treat effluents, we are doing a lot of work in this way. I think that for this application is better open tank.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Luciane.
Thank you, Hector. See you in Brasil.
Muchas gracias, doctor Héctor, por su pregunta. La siguiente pregunta es de Gaby. Gaby, no sé si quieras hacerla directamente a nuestra ponente o leo la pregunta.
Si me escuchan, la puedo hacer.
Adelante.
Sí.
Adelante,
Okay.
Gaby.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your presentation. I have a little question about the quantification of the proteins. What could be the best option, Bradford or Lowry? Thank you.
We use here Lowry to determine proteins, but all this depends on the quantity of biomass we have, because we have a problem here. When we perform the cultivation, sometimes we don't have a lot of quantities of biomass to perform all determinations. So we padronizamos we have a pattern of doing using Lowry, not Bradford. And if I have biomass in higher quantities, I prefer to use Kildo.
Okay, thank you.
Muchas gracias, Gaby, por tu pregunta. ¿Alguien más que tenga alguna pregunta que quiera hacerle a nuestra ponente? Si quiere levantar la mano. Bueno, pues creo que no hay más preguntas. De mi parte, pues sería todo. Thank you very much, Luciane, for your presentation. Gracias a todos los participantes en este primer foro que hemos hecho, esta primera sesión de de conferencias pre-congreso a Latin Food. Les pedimos pues que sigan al pendiente de todas las nuevas notificaciones que hacemos para el congreso. Y pues muchísimas gracias por estar este día de hoy tan al pendiente de la ponencia tan interesante de Luciane. Y pues le cedo la palabra a la presidenta de la AMECA, a Rosy Rodríguez. Entonces, adelante, Rosy. Rosy, no te escucho.
Sí, un segundo, ya se conecta.
Ok.
Hola.
Hola, Rosie. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado, Luciane, for your presentation. It was an excellent beginning for our pre-conference webinars or our webinars pre-Latin Food 2022 Congress. So thank you so much for being with us. It's a very interesting topic, the ones that you already made to us, and also it's in vogue, to try to make new foods with all the hunger that we have in the world, and try to feed the population with these new alternatives. It's extremely important. So congratulations for your team and all the excellent work you have done. Muito obrigado. Gracias.
Thank you, Rosie. Gracias. Thank you for the invitation, and I think that I will see you in Brazil too.
Yes.
Yes, very good. Thank you for everyone for all questions, and thank you, Cesar, for the mediation.
Y además también queremos agradecer a todos los asistentes. Por favor, sigan nuestra página, los diferentes medios de divulgación que utilizamos como AMECA para las siguientes preconferencias o webinars. Please continue following us. Vamos a tener webinars a partir del día de hoy hasta 2 semanas antes del Congreso. También los invitamos a que cualquier duda o comentario que tengan sobre el Congreso, no duden en comunicarse a los diferentes emails o en el Facebook de la AMECA, así como también pueden entrar a nuestra página www.amecamex.mx. ¿Ok? Y por último, Misael les va a compartir en el chat el link de los siguientes registros de las siguientes conferencias, y también les pedimos que a las personas que les recordamos a las personas que asistieron al Congreso que hay un link en el chat para que por favor anoten de forma correcta su nombre para los diplomas. Please remember that we have a link in the chat. Please look for a link in order to put your correct name or contact data for receive the diploma of the pre-conference. Okay, you have to be you have to complete or fulfill the 3 conference of the module, but you can if you assist to all our conference, you will get 3 diplomas, 1 per each module. The following pre-conference will be performed by Dr. Carolina Flores, and the topic is lactic fermentation as a strategy for enhancing functional properties of food.
Suele pasar. Oye, Rosy, aquí hay una pregunta que nos hace Iraís, que si quedan grabadas las conferencias en la página de la AMECA.
Sí, de hecho se estuvo transmitiendo esta conferencia por el Facebook. Se va a quedar ahí dentro, por supuesto, nuestro histórico de los videos de la página y de la AMECA. Sí, ahí va a estar la conferencia disponible. También tenemos una página de YouTube, la vamos a también a pasar a nuestra página de YouTube. Y cada una de estas se van a grabar, pero sí es necesario que estén presentes para lo del diploma, que estén en la sesión de Zoom. La transmisión en Facebook es pues para las personas que no consiguieron registrarse, pues también quieren tener la oportunidad de seguir las preconferencias. Pero sí se van a quedar grabadas.
Muy bien. Entonces, para que estén también al pendiente de nuestra página, estén al pendiente de la página de Facebook, ahí está toda la información y todos los eventos, novedades que haya con respecto a la AMECA, perdón, a Latin Food, pues ahí van a estar publicados y pues que nos sigan siguiendo y que los esperamos en Puebla este 16-18 de noviembre en este gran evento que estamos preparando, como se los dije desde un inicio, con mucho cariño, con mucho amor, para que quede lo mejor posible y lo disfruten y aprendamos todos juntos con las conferencias, los trabajos, ponencias que se van a estar presentando.
Así es, muchas gracias a todos.
Bye, bye.
Hasta luego. Bye, Luciane.
Até logo. Bye, gracias.
Muito obrigada por tudo.
Tchau.
Recording stopped.